Hey, what's up, everybody? This is an open discussion with C3 Films. Today, we're doing a special show with a special guest. My name is Chris, and this is.
Eeyore.
And today, we are both going to be talking about the Christopher Robin movie from Disney. So, we are going into spoiler territory. So, spoiler alert already out of the way. So, you've been warned. If you've been warned, if you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it. That way, we can all feel warmed together. And yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Eeyore, I'm really excited to talk to you and stuff. So, why don't you tell me where you come from and what you thought about this movie?
I thought the movie was great. Glad I got to be in it.
Oh, that's really cool, Eeyore. Can you tell me anything? What was your favorite part of the movie?
I like the part that I was in. I don't
Oh,
usually get to do much.
I don't know. I think you did a little bit. I think you actually kind of did quite a lot, actually.
I got thrown into a bucket, but at least my house didn't break this time.
That's true. And you got your tail back at the end of the movie, so glass has half full, right?
Good old Christopher Robin.
Yeah. Eeyore, I don't know if you knew this, but my name is Christopher.
That's true. Are you just
So,
like Christopher Robin?
do I what? Sorry, do I dress like him?
Are you just like him?
I mean, I'm a couple of shades a little darker than him, but generally, yeah, we're about the same, I would say.
I guess we come in different colors.
That's
Sometimes
true
I'm
because
gray.
yes, like the Eeyore that's to the left of me is gray, while the Eeyore that I'm speaking to presumably is blue, and that's very confusing. Why are you so blue?
Because I'm always sad.
Well, you know what? Like Eeyore, it's been great, and because you're sad, I think what would make you happier is if you could watch our show as I talk with my partner Cheryl. So, do you mind bringing Cheryl back for me?
Sounds about right. Guess I'll mosey on over.
Thank
Sup
you, Eeyore.
guys? Oh, that was a hard gimmick to keep up. I was getting
Yeah, right.
was getting hot under there.
Oh
So
man, and then
anyway,
she had something new to put on her head. Uh,
what's
yeah,
up,
it's like
guys?
I don't know how we were gonna be able to do that. I mean, like I'm impressed with your Eeyore impression though, top notch, A plus.
Well, thank you.
So. But anyway, I know clearly that you are an absolute fan of this movie. So watching it for another time for you, this is my first time seeing it, but watching it again for you, what were your thoughts of going through it again?
Actually, this is the first time I watched it. The I previously watched another movie called Goodbye Christopher Robin, which is about the actual people, like the writer and his son Christopher Robin. Was definitely a completely different story. This one, though, I felt like it's very heartwarming. It's very easy to watch. It's just a. It's not like a great movie, but it's like a solid regular movie. Nothing too special about it, but it was not bad.
Yeah, like I found the movie very to be very enjoyable because of it's really these characters, man. Like when the movie opens and you see Christopher Robin as a kid and he's going and talking with all the woodland creatures and everything, and they're having the goodbye party for him. It's like you can't help but have your heart feel warmed as somebody who we were children when we were like watching like the animated Christopher Robin stories. And so like it felt kind of nice to it was like kind of nostalgic to see Christopher Robin as a kid like talking to the woodland creatures and then all of a sudden, he's an adult, like we're adults although we are still technically younger than Christopher Robin is in this movie, but we still know what it's like to be an adult now. So when he's going and living his adult life, there's a new appreciation for it where we can watch and see him doing these things and we're like, yeah, man, we get it.
Yeah, it's like a good reminder of like, I guess our age, but it's also like general like the whole moral of the story is to try to be happy. Like remember that you should be happy, appreciate your life. It's not all about work. It's more about family and enjoying what you have and appreciating what you have and making the best out of what you do have, and even in your job. So, and also like I guess what comes around goes around is also another theme of the movie, but that's also kind of not realistic. But hey, it's a feel good movie, right? So that's what it does.
Yeah. But yeah, the ending of the movie where he's standing in front of his bosses and he's like has his family there with everyone that's getting fired and he makes the speech and then like is able to run off and solve the problem. Like that very much feels like the standard ending to this kind of Disney film, like almost like a 90s Disney film, you know? And it works. You put that aside and you're along for the ride and you enjoy it. The thing that got me was the I loved how I loved how the script played with words and turn a phrase to show how simple Pooh is when hearing different things. So like when Christopher Robin first sees him for the first time after so long, he says to himself, "Oh my gosh, um, I'm stressed," and Pooh goes, "No, not stressed, just Pooh. I'm Pooh." It's like, oh God, dude. He says, nothing is. People say nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day. You know what's funny is that basically that means the same thing because you're saying that nothing is possible, but
Yeah,
it's just really good.
definitely that I don't think it fits straight out of the mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but that is definitely the way he talks, and it's definitely usually how he and Christopher Robin usually interact. And I thought they did really well with Pooh's character, especially with toning down how annoying he is, because I do remember, because I watched the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh within the last 2 years, and it was a little hard to watch because he is he is pretty annoying in the way that like he's somewhat inconsiderate of the other characters, and they have to deal with him, and that's what the conflict is. Pooh is also the conflict of the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and so that makes him a little bit annoying. They definitely toned it down for this movie, so I feel like it was a little aggravating. But then you could also see Ian McGregor express his annoyance with him, and I feel like that made it better because we could relate to him. Where like you have this character who's kind of being annoying, but he's not doing it on purpose. Like he never
Right.
does it on purpose. He just doesn't know any better because he is a bear of very little brain.
Yes. I mean, he's basically a child that doesn't know how to play nap. And the scene that I really love is when Pooh is sitting there in the train with him and is reading everything that's going by or like saying out loud all the things that are going by while Ewan McGregor's trying to do work. And literally I had this feeling of, oh my gosh, I know what that's like where you just want someone to shut up, but they won't stop, but you're trying to be nice, so you're like, could you could you try to talk a little quieter? And they do it, but it's still loud enough that you can't focus. And you don't you don't want to strangle them and throw them to the bottom of the lake, but you think about it. And I appreciate Christopher Robin for not doing it and for sticking to his guns and getting Pooh back to back to the 100 Acre Wood.
Yeah, because that was also what Christopher Robin is to them, or was to them, is just someone that takes care of them. Like, he always helps them solve their problems because he's just ever so slightly more knowledgeable than they are. So he's like Big Brother. And now he's been an adult, and he's more than Big Brother now. He's an adult who is still with the same simpleton characters, the same children now, but he relates to them even less because he's an adult. And it's kind of sad. It was very
Yeah.
sad, especially I was like, oh man, this really sucks when Christopher Robin brings Pooh back to the tree doorway, and then Pooh is like going it back in, and he's like, okay, goodbye. And I was like, oh my gosh, how do you just like dump him there and then leave? It's almost like dumping your dog and like not even turning back. But he does turn back, so you know, that made me feel better. But it was really sad.
Right. I speaking of relating to characters, so I related to Christopher Robin for a different reason too. Because as all of you guys know, Cheryl and I we decided to do the show together, and one of the things that happens is that I will say things that I would like Cheryl to do. Like let's talk about like naming a part of like our stream stuff. And I say, "Yeah, name this whatever you want." And she will literally type in whatever you
Whatever you
want.
want.
That's what she writes out. And so when Pooh would respond to the things that Christopher Robin's saying with these literal responses, I could not help but realize that I have been Christopher Robin this entire time and Cheryl has been my Winnie the Pooh.
Now
And
you
it
know where I
makes
get
me
it
upset.
from. Because I'm always watching Winnie the Pooh.
I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated, but it made the movie better. And Eeyore, the character you're addressed as, oh my gosh, I
He's the
love Eeyore. Is so
hero.
funny.
He was the best. He did such a good job in this movie. He was totally the hero because he was the one that that like got Christopher Robin to find the rest of the group, I guess, because he like got picked up, and then he also was the one that recognized Christopher Robin as Christopher Robin while he was playing, like fighting against the Heffalumps.
Right. Yeah. I it's amazing because all these characters are supposed to represent different what was it? Like social disorders. So depression,
Mental
anxiety,
disorders.
what happened?
Mental disorders.
Mental disorders. Yeah. But Eeyore's the only one that can make depression funny.
Oh,
It's like
I mean, he's just so cute, and
it
I think that's why I like him so much because I just want to give him a hug and like cheer him up and make him happy.
right? So it's so sad. The things that Eeyore says in this movie make me just go, oh. Just every time when he is floating down the river and he's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go over the waterfall, but it's not like anyone will notice." And Christopher Robin says, "Don't worry, I'll save you." And Eeyore's response is, "We'll see." What? Yo, you poor animal. I'm sorry. Who
So
hurt you?
cute. And it was really funny when like he like jumped into the river, but it was like super shallow, and the waterfall is like a foot long. It
Yeah.
was so cute. I loved it. That was a really good scene. I had fun with that
Yes,
part.
I, I really appreciate anytime Eeyore was on screen. Anything that Eeyore said had me just laughing my butt off. It's so funny, that character, and it was nice seeing all the other characters. And although I'm reminded when I watch it that characters like Kanga and Roo and Rabbit and Owl don't really get that much play. Um, they're not the most famous out of the group. With the most famous out of the group was arguably Piglet, Eeyore, Tigger, and Pooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Those are like the most popular characters. There are even more characters that come later, but I think they were probably added, but definitely those four are the main original characters.
Right.
I did have a problem though with Piglet because Piglet is like he's known for having a stutter and he always says like dear oh dear. I can't do it.
Mm. They
And
didn't say, and he didn't say it in this
they didn't
movie.
have that at all in the movie, and he barely stuttered. Like that's what he's known for, stuttering and being like scared and nervous. And I don't think they played that off very well. I think
I mean,
they didn't
he's
serve
a little
Piglet
scared.
justice.
Right. Well, it's been 30 years. Maybe he's had some time to get over it. You ever think about that?
uh,
Maybe Pig is not so scared anymore.
sure, sure. If that's what you want to give reason to, but
Oh yeah, did you let
did you
me
let me
go?
go? Yeah,
Ah!
so sad. Like, oh my gosh, like this movie really like breaks your heart, and it's like, come on, Christopher Robin, get your act together, stop being a jerk to your friends, like your little kiddo friends and your stuffed animal friends. But I'm glad that he, goes back and gets better and then, makes everything better. It's just such a heartwarming film, like I said.
It is. And we got the Tigger song in this movie.
Yes, we did. That was also cool. It was a little weird, but I feel like they did well with the voices for Pooh, Eeyore, and Tigger, but everyone else's voices were kind of weird. But I think it's just because I'm not used to it. And Winnie the Pooh is very old, so of course they can't have the original voice actors anymore. But at least they got like the real distinct ones. The only one I had a problem with was Piglet.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know most of those other voice actors, but the voice actor. It's funny that you said Tigger and Pooh because they're voiced by the same person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tigger and Pooh are voiced by Jim Cummings, who is a legend in the voice acting community. Um, I feel like the thing that I know him most from is Justice League, but he's done a lot of different animated voices. So he's very seasoned. He's a veteran in the field. So and seeing him in a motion picture was very cool because normally I only see his name in the credits of animated television shows. But it's yeah, so it's funny that you said those two were the best voice actors or voice acting, and he's the one that literally did both of them.
Nice, nice. I think, yeah, I do remember seeing his name in the credits. So, speaking of
Yeah.
credits, one of the problems that I had with this movie is how long the opening credits were. It dragged on for 13 minutes, and then nothing really happens until like 30 minutes in, when then that's like the first time you see Pooh. Well, not the first time, but that's when that's the first time he sees Pooh as an adult. It's 30 minutes in, and this movie is only an hour and 45 minutes long. So it just had a very
Right.
slow beginning. It felt like, especially with the credits dragging on. There was just an awful lot of setup. So, but it's alright. It's a short movie. I don't think it's not something that I would like super super give it a hard time for because of the nature of the movie, but it did feel like very long in the beginning, like for things to get started.
Yeah, no, I see that. I it's interesting because the two movies we're going to talk about today both play around with storytelling in their opening acts, or like not opening acts, excuse me, their opening credits. They're telling another long story in their opening credits and trying to shorten it down. And so for me, I didn't notice the 13 minutes. So when you said it's 13 minutes, that really surprised me just now. But I think the reason I didn't notice it was because I got that they were basically trying to tell the story of what happened to Christopher Robin as he got older, losing his father, meeting meeting Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell, meeting and then going to war while she's pregnant, having to fight in the war. And basically, the point was to show all of these things that were happening to him that would cause him to change, kind of symbolizing the death of the child. And it used that 13 minutes to kind of really drive that home so that the rest of the movie can quote unquote hurt more when you're seeing all of these rejections of the child self in order to be the adult, to be responsible, but the movie being about still embracing the part that of you that is a child, because now when you have a child, it's that connection that will allow you to connect with her. So I didn't mind it so much.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt slow to me. I think it's maybe it would have been better if I didn't see all the names popping up still after 13 minutes. Cuz I was like, "Oh, they're still doing that? They're still doing that?" Like, "Oh, that had to be the last one," but it kept going on for a while.
Right. How did you like his daughter?
I liked her. I think she did a good job. As like for the character, I I felt like she wasn't as excitable as she could have been. Might have been a
Hmm.
little bit more fun if she was more into playing, but I guess like the reason for that is because she's trying to please her father by
Right.
studying very hard, um, and being just like him. So in that sense, she plays a very little conflict. She doesn't like really get upset at him, to him, until she sees him at the cottage, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go." But even then, she isn't throwing a tantrum at him. She never throws a tantrum at him, and so it seems kind of, I guess, hard for Christopher Robin to really connect the dots that he's not being a great father because he never gets to see it. Even I guess it's not really until he finds out that she's lost that he
Right.
really has concern for her well being. And I think that could have happened sooner. There could have been
Right.
another event before that where she gets like maybe she yells at him for like being an awful father and then it makes him think and then when she disappears it's even worse.
I see. I see. Yeah, maybe. Um, yeah, there definitely is a little bit. It's funny because the whole thing that you're talking about is the fact that comes from them not having too many interactions with each other, but that also is kind of the point is that they don't have that many interactions with each other. So there's not that many opportunities for them to like share those conversations, but maybe if they did have at least one scene where she was able to voice her um how upset she was, her dissatisfaction with her father, then he'd have to sit on that on the ride home. And then, yeah, like you said, find out that she's missing. And the last conversation he had with her was one of argument, but then by the end, realizing that even after that argument, she still was trying to help him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
So,
I think overall it was pretty mellow. Like the film was pretty mellow, in terms of conflict. It was just very sad. There were just a lot of heartbreaking moments where Christopher Robin does stuff and it hurts other people's feelings, and that's basically the whole movie. Like, I guess it's kind of
yeah,
like that. It's kind of like Pooh. He is the conflict, of his own story. So,
right. Which is interesting. I just I hate how these stuffed animals can't play nap time. Why can no one play nap time? Tigger, you have one job to do. Stop moving around.
it was really funny though. I mean, that's totally Tigger though. He cannot sit still. I'm surprised he was able to play nap time even a little bit.
You know? But yeah, like that's about it for that from me, but is there anything else you wanted to say in closing?
I think I just want to acknowledge the red balloon. I I think it's not really just the red balloon. It's a lot of like little things here and there that are, familiar to the original story, including the red
Yeah.
balloon, and then there's like the whole iconic image of the bridge in the 100 Acre Wood and stuff like that. So it definitely brought back memories, and it was just nice to see all that stuff come back again.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I was surprised at how much the movie made me laugh. There's this other scene that I wrote down, where one of the characters says, "Didn't you see the sign?" And it was just it like I can't even remember like everything else that happened in the scene, but it's just there's so many good comedic moments that just play off of how simple the characters are versus how the world actually is. And in that way, it's kind of sweet because it's like looking through the eyes of a child because all of these characters are basically children. And even the world itself is kind of based off of Christopher Robin's own mood. Whenever he shows up to play, it will always be a sunny day. But when they first get there, it's foggy because he's not in that mindset. So it's kind of cool. I overall I appreciate the message, even though it's a very simple movie and there's not too much to it, but it still did warm my soul.
Yeah, it's just a fun, easy movie to watch.
Absolutely. So what about you guys? Hey, did you see the movie? What did you think about it? Do you agree with us, or do you feel like we are just two people of very simple brain? But regardless, whatever you thought, I have been Chris, and this has been
Cheryl, and we will see you all next time.